And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you from Westlake Village, California, getting that June gloom already, and it's only April, but here's what we're going to talk about today. The million-dollar question, $32,000 Bitcoin or 25, what happens first? And I'll give you a little hint with core inflation coming out lower than expected yesterday, PPI inflation coming out lower than expected today. It gooses the odds in the favor of the bulls for that $32,000 target. We've been talking about it for weeks now. And in fact, I'm just going to put up a reminder here on that Gaussian channel as to why we have this target on the weekly time frame. We had a closure above the mean band, about almost 3 weeks ago. And as soon as that happens in Bitcoin's history, typically every single time after this thing turns red, you get a closure above the mean band, you get a free ride to the top side of the band. And in fact, Bitcoin typically goes for more after that. So that does beg the question, 35,000, is that going to be in the cards for Bitcoin? I think that is in the cards, and I'm going to give you kind of an invalidation point to perhaps know when things might be turning back to the downside as of right now. Tomorrow, retail sales and autos. And again, my FX book is a great indicator or resource to get the latest economic news. But you can see core PPI came in much lower than expected, negative 0.1%. You had PPI year over year came in at 2.7 and PPI month over month. Additionally, jobless claims came in lower than expected. And so what's coming up tomorrow is retail sales, ex-gas and autos, import prices, retail sales tomorrow. And we're going to have a Fed speech tomorrow. And barring any bad economic data today, I would say that gooses the odds in the favor of the bulls, and Bitcoin probably does continue to the top side of that band. Also on the weekly for CMEs, I just want to see how close we are. Close enough is close enough. 31,725. We have a $32,000 target on spot price action. So that that's it for Bitcoin. I mean, really, as long as spot price does not come back and close a daily below this pivot here at, call it 2880, 28,800. As long as we don't start closing dailies back below there, I would expect this to continue onwards and upwards. At that point, there is going to be a vicious downside move here. It's not going to happen in one day, but remember, all the X factors out there. We got a recession heading towards us. We've got a war going on in the Ukraine. We've got interest rate hikes coming up March 3rd. So, give it another 2-3 weeks and things can change on a dime. And, volatility is still expanding on the daily time frame. Stokes are still pivoted up. And in fact, that pivot at 29,000 is probably going to look pretty good as well. When momentum crosses back to the downside, volatility on the 2-day, this move could really start to get going here. If we see expansion on the 2-day, we do have expansion on the 5-day, giving us continuation from all the way back here. It is beginning to wane here. Let's see if the 3-day is giving us anything at the moment. I don't see anything there. I do, while I have this Gaussian channel on the weekly time frame, want to point out Ethereum, which is leading the pack today. And we do have a measure moved off an inverted head and shoulders right up to the top side of the mean band. And I do imagine this could lift off fairly quickly. If we do get a closure this week, we have till Sunday for this to happen. As long as we did not close below the mean band, well, I would expect that move to play out over the next, 5 to 10 days, something like that. And invalidation on this one, again, is going to be a daily closure back below the shoulder, which is coming in at 1714. We're quite a ways away there now. I would say that green 55 on the daily is also, you know, going to be a key point of interest. This area at 1850 will be a key point of interest as well, but we'll be keeping a close eye on this one. And yeah, so we've got, you know, take profit. We had, I think, an entry back here, and a risk management pivot would now just be, I would still, you know, more conservatively have it something like that. For Ethereum, let's check in on Bitcoin dominance here really quick. I'm interested to see what that one is doing. And we did talk about this, saying, hey, this daily range, which we've had since May of 21, if we did break it, right, and then break above, deviate back down, that would be the indicator to let us know some of those altcoins are going to begin to rip to the upside. You know, I still want to say continuation on this and perhaps a closure below 47.8%. Even better, a closure back below that 40, call it 47%. And I would say altcoin rally started. Additionally, we've been talking about this pivot right here. And in fact, I think it was a little bit higher. We said any kind of a daily closure below this 6.67% on tether dominance likely gets us a nice altcoin rally. Last thing I wanted to check in on was the ETH Bitcoin chart. And this is really what, you know, the last line in the sand is a daily reversal on the ETH Bitcoin chart. Would look very good for that altcoin party. Again, coins I have my eyes on. I want to start out stacks again, kind of lagging behind today, but did put a nice bounce off this green 55. We've been talking about that with an overall target up to 140. If this one wants to continue onwards and upwards, that's 148 actually on stacks. So perhaps a bit of a laggard today, but tomorrow sees a bit more follow through. Those are the kind of opportunities I like to keep my eye on. This one we talked about as well a few weeks ago, breaking the daily downtrend. We got the higher high and a couple of higher lows in comparison to this low. And now we will have a higher high today. So this one, if it closed anywhere here or higher, is going to have a bearish engulfing and volatility just beginning to expand. I do think this one at a minimum gets some continuation up to the top side of range at about 1368, which is very nice. Matic also setting it up to do the same thing, but I really want to see a weekly closure back above this 117 pivot, and that'll be pretty much game on for me. On the daily time frame, you're going to see extremely low volatility and momentum crossing to the upside today above 112. So that will look good for some continuation there as well. Near had a big move yesterday, and we did say, hey, if we do get a closure above this pivot here, the measure move on this guy is pretty much up to that purple 200. So near with some potential and room for growth as well. Yeah, 2-day volatility just beginning to lift off. So as long as those retail numbers come in bullish, bullish for stocks and bearish for the dollar, that's the key here. We talked about this on the daily time frame. This was our overall target, and any kind of a daily closure back below that pivot likely gets us more continuation to the downside. And we've been talking about this 6-month pivot. I'll give this as a secondary target for the dollar. 6-month time frame, though, is going to take some time to play out. But hey, let's say the Fed decides not to raise rates coming in on May 3rd. Let's see what the CME rate hike tool is pricing in still a almost 70% chance we get 25 basis points on May 3rd. So again, I think in the short term, all these kind of macroeconomic data points coming in, inflation's going lower, what the Fed is doing is working, the dollar's coming down, and we've got, all the bullish indicators for crypto kind of lighting up here. So we should give it a day of celebration and prepare for the next major trade setup. I hope you guys enjoyed today. If you did, do me a favor, throw a like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow with some more crypto updates. Take care.